Firstly, can I say what a huge privilege and a pleasure it is to be back with you, and so many people in this audience and who may be listening also will know that you are my friends. It's been quite a sobering afternoon to listen to all of those who have spoken. Many of you will know that I've been involved one way or another in domestic violence cases and this issue for a few years now. I think I first did my first domestic violence case when I was 21, so yesterday. And I've watched this issue in many different guises. First as a young barrister, then as a policymaker, activist, if you like. I think I was described as part of the mother's mafia when I was at the bar. Then going on to hear these cases, then as a parliamentarian, then as a creator of two foundations, one the Global Foundation for the Elimination of Domestic Violence and the Corporate Alliance Against Domestic Violence, now called the Alliance, and I'm very glad to see Melissa and others here. And then as a parliamentarian, changing the law to make things what we hoped better. And then lastly, as the Commonwealth Secretary-General, being responsible for 56 countries, that's about 2.7 billion people. And one of the things I've wanted to do throughout each of those roles is to make it better for women. And I think Mandy said it all. Her description of the reality of what it means to suffer from domestic violence, I think, is seared into all of our memories. And listening to all the panels made me feel, firstly, very sad, because the stories were the stories that I heard when I came to the bar in 1977. I told you I'm still only 21. But they have changed, and lots of things have got better. So what does it tell me? It tells me that we cannot take our foot off the pedal. It tells me that it's not done until it's done. It tells me that there is so much more work for all of us to do. But I think it also gives me a lot of courage and enables me to say thank you. Thank you to every single organisation represented in this room. Thank you for every person who has come today. Thank you for every person who's listening today, because you are part of our solution. When we started on this journey, and if you remember that the first refuge was in 1977, lots of people didn't know what domestic and sexual abuse really was. Nobody was talking about it. They said it was a taboo subject. And at that stage, in 1997, when I went into government, it was 1 in 3 women in the world, 1 in 4 women in the United Kingdom. By the time I left government, we had managed to significantly change that. If you can believe it, in 2010, we'd reduced the number, so it was 1 in 6 women and 1 in 10 men. And so anyone who tells you that policy doesn't matter, look at the empirical data, it does. We had reduced domestic violence by 64%. We'd saved more than £7.1 billion in terms of economic cost. We had put the economic cost issue on the table, and we demonstrated that it was more cost efficient, more cost effective to stop domestic violence than not to. And we had made it systemic in our government. So we had an interministerial group on domestic violence, which I chaired, from 2003. We had someone responsible for this issue in every single department of state. We created a whole systems approach which left no one behind, and we embedded it systemically in our government. We had a national criminal justice board, we had crime and disorder partnerships. We created the multi-agency risk assessment, which enabled us to make the difference, because we targeted how many women were being killed every single week. And we monitored it, and we tracked it, and we traced it, and we interrupted what was happening. And I remember when I first started this, and I said we were going to count, and forgive me for this, dead bodies. And they said, but Minister, you're crazy. You can never turn that backwards. And they said, why are you doing that? And I said, because nobody believes in statistics. It's statistics, and there's damn lies. And so the only way we can track it is if we monitor how many women and children are being affected by this, how many are dying. Because if we can reduce the numbers, then we can show that what we are doing is making a difference. And we also track the money. So when I was Deputy Home Secretary, I took the responsibility of dealing with some of the most difficult areas. I took it onto myself, and one of them was London. We then had about 50 women dying every year in London, and that was in 2003. By the time I left in 2010, how many women do you think died in London? Someone give me a guess. No one? 5. And every death was costing our system about 1.1 billion. So if you cared millions, if you cared nothing about people and just counted money, we were saving bucket loads of money. And when we left government, lots of those institutions left with us. But now we're back. And there is really work to do. So let no one tell you this cannot be done. It can. But we must choose. We have to be the difference we want to make in the world. And that's why I absolutely joined up with No More. And we created Commonwealth Says No More, so that in every single one of those 56 countries, we would be the difference. We'd share our knowledge. We shared the whole systems approach. Because trust me, it takes all of us, absolutely all of us. But what gives me joy? What gives me joy is that we have the courage, we have the commitment, and we have the determination. Someone said to me, Patricia, are you optimistic or pessimistic? And I said, I'm neither. I'm simply determined. So be determined with me. We are going to change this world, whether others like it or not. Women are going to live better, children are going to be better, and the next generation won't look back at us and say, what were you doing, you bunch of jokers? We're going to get this right, because we can, we know how to do it, and we will. And thank you.
Patricia, Baroness Scotland, thank you so much for those incredible words, so powerful, so strong, and so inspiring. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.